One of my favorite books ever written is The Story of King Arthur and His Knights by Howard Pyle. And I feel it's the most complete telling of the Arthur legend. I prefer it to The Once and Future King by T.E. White. This version was written around 1902. And it's about 600 pages long. It's a more dry telling. I know it has a very dry title as well, but I still think fans of, say, Tolkien or Game of Thrones would really enjoy it. If you're into that whole kind of blood dashed upon dirty armor tone, like that's this book. And there's a particular passage in the foreword that I feel captures a form of energy that doesn't really exist anymore. And I talk about it in my other videos. It's a form of nobility, self-sacrifice, and courage that I feel is literally discouraged in today's society. And it goes, "For when in pursuing this history I have come to consider the high nobility of spirit that moved these excellent men to act as they did, I have felt that they have afforded such a perfect example of courage and humility that anyone might do exceedingly well to follow after their manner of behavior in such measure as he is able to do. For I believe that King Arthur was the most honorable gentle knight who ever lived in all the world, and those who were his fellows of the Round Table, taking him as their looking-glass of chivalry, made, altogether, such a company of noble knights that it is hardly to be supposed that their like will ever be seen again in this world." And it just seems so odd that even in 1902, Howard Pyle, who wrote this, is talking about King Arthur and the Round Table in these very fatalistic terms, like you're never going to see his like again. And he seems so certain of it. And that's a real shame. It's a real shame that this has to be a story or a legend. And that a group of people who would self-sacrifice in a noble fashion as they did is now a myth. I really think that's a shame. And I reread this book to kind of re-energize myself on that wavelength. Do you know what I mean? Just to remind myself that that energy exists, and that even though Arthur and the Round Table is always going to be a legend, it's always going to be an amalgamation of different stories, different legends, different people, it still has the same message. It still has the same sort of like nobility, humility, and courage. I'll do some more videos on the Arthur legend and probably this book and those themes. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.